Let's dive in and let's see if we can make it work. They also, unfortunately, have block debuffs on a bunch of them. Okay, the stun comes in. They've hit him hard, but that's about it. So I think we might have a chance here. This comes in, the revive on death. She gets an actual extra hit out there, the AoE hit, which is kind of nice. Helior will hopefully cleanse us now in a second. Come on, Helior, do your thing. Get a turn at some point, buddy. Here we go. He actually got revived on death. Helior comes in, cleanses the debuffs, and smacks. Look at this. Vogoth's getting beaten up, but he's going, and boom, the AoE hit comes in from Mother, and we've taken Arbiter down. Okay, she got revived again, but so did he. He got revived as well. Increased defense got stripped off. She put it back on. Increased defense is upping Helior's damage too. And look at this. This is pretty cool, right? Boom! Solar Blessing comes out and Helior smacks them down. Hi everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. And in today's video, I want to show you something that I have been working on here on the channel. I've teased him in a couple of videos already, but it's time to show this guy properly in action, because this is Helior, and I think Helior is the champion, the number one, the best champion in the whole game, or sorry, the champion who has benefited the most from Stoneskin from Stoneskin armor. He gets more out of this than anyone else in the entire game, in my opinion. So I'm going to show you why today, how I've built him to capitalize on this, and why it works so well. And we'll see him in action in the arena as well. So first of all, let's talk about Helior. And really this is looking to build him in the arena, which I think is actually his best spot. He's very, very good there. So his passive, Intercessor. Whenever an ally that has 2 or more debuffs is attacked, this champion will absorb 30% of the damage inflicted on that ally. So this is a passive ability. This is incredibly powerful for keeping you alive, right? This is very similar to the Ursica Warcaller passive. Her passive redirects 30% of damage from critical hits onto her. So hers is easier to activate than Helior's, right? Her passive is better. But if you imagine you're in a go second situation, you know, very, very common you'd run into something like a Madame Ceres, right? Who's going to strip your buffs, put decreased defense, decrease attack on your entire team. There you go. Then the nuker comes in. That is 2 debuffs on your team. This passive, it won't keep you alive entirely, but it does a lot of work to keep you alive, right? Now, next up, unfortunately, as you can see, I do not have him booked for this particular video. I will book him eventually, and we'll revisit him right there. You're going to see, I think books on this skill are nice. Not necessary, actually, for the arena, but it's better for PvE content. But you're going to see, we're going to lose a lot of damage, right? We could get actually almost as much as 30% more damage out of this guy if he was booked. So do bear that in mind when we go to actually seeing him in action, right? Imagine his damage up by 30%. But anyway, Harsh Light here, his A3, 5-turn cooldown, goes down to a 3-turn cooldown, transfers all debuffs from all allies to a target enemy, then attacks that enemy with the default skill, converts this champion's resistance into additional accuracy when using this skill. So this is completely incredible. This is a fantastic move. It's a full cleanse for your team, but then it puts those debuffs onto the enemy. So you will have seen, if you look at my Nether Spider video, I think that's probably out by the time I put this out, trying to sort out videos for the weekend. But you can see him in action against the Nether Spider, and that's exactly what he does. The Nether Spider puts out poisons all over our team. Helior takes all the poisons off and then gives this massive stack of poisons to the enemy boss. Very cool. Also, obviously phenomenal in the arena, especially for something like you're going up against that traditional speed team like Arbiter, Madame, and a nuker or whatever. You take all of those debuffs they put on your team and you put them on their Arbiter and go, okay, I'm taking out your Reviver now. All those debuffs are on you. And converting resistance into accuracy for this skill is obviously incredible. So it's additional accuracy. So the baseline accuracy that he has, whether from Great Hall or a couple of random pieces of gear, that still gets added into transferring those debuffs. But you can just stack his resistance super high so he can resist debuffs himself, so that he won't be crowd controlled. So he can take his turn and cleanse your team. And it's very difficult then to resist him, right? He's going to have a ton of accuracy coming in at you because of this. I presume actually that increased accuracy might work on this as well, because it's turning it into accuracy. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't tested that, but possibly increased accuracy would work. I assume that increased resistance, as that becomes more popular, that would work as well. So there's a bunch of cool stuff happening there. Very cool. Kind of the opposite of Mithrala Lifebane's passive. It's a good passive. His A2 then, Solar Blessing. This is a 4-turn cooldown. Books down to a 3-turn cooldown. AoE attack and puts a shield buff on all allies equal to 20% of the damage inflicted. It scales off of his defense. So this is a strong hit. It's not an insane hit, right? This doesn't hit crazy hard, but it does hit nice and solidly. Again, you do want to book it out to get that 30% extra damage out. That makes a big difference. But this does hit reasonably hard in AoE, and you get a nice shield out of it as well. You'll see oftentimes in the arena, this is not going to be a massive shield, but you know, in something like a spider dungeon where you've got lots of spiderlings to hit, it does a decent amount. Like, it's not too bad. You know, don't expect it to be an absolutely massive shield that's going to completely protect you. It's just sort of a bonus, but it's a good AoE hit. Then his A1 attacks an enemy, and bear in mind this A1 also triggers whenever he uses harsh light as well, right? Attacks an enemy, increases his defense by 5% if he crits, and that stacks up to 20% bonus defense. Also heals him by 75% of his defense after attacking if their defense has already been increased by 20%. So the number one, this gets really good with the increased defense buff. You can really start to benefit. 25% damage from books as well. This starts hitting a lot harder. But upping his defense is going to obviously make him tankier. It also ups his damage by a potential 20%. The downside is this obviously takes a while to ramp up. He's got to make 4 of these A1 attacks and crit with them to actually get this going, to get it fully going. And then he starts healing. You know, this healing is going to be pretty substantial. If you imagine, you're easily going to be able to push him over 5,000 defense. So, you know, every time he's hitting, he's probably healing himself around about 4,000 HP every single time he does his A1 or his A3, which triggers his A1. It's a substantial amount of healing. It can make him quite difficult to deal with, so it's a very nice move. He also, by the way, does have a 60 resistance in all battles aura, which is a fantastic aura, and that resistance works really well with him. Why is he so good, though, with Stoneskin? And here's the thing. Look how stat hungry Helior is. So he has an AoE hit, which is based off of damage, based off of defense, and it gives you a shield based off damage inflicted. So straight away, he wants to have high defense, so he just gets damage off his multipliers. He wants 100% crit rate. He wants a ton of crit damage, so he can hit really hard with this. Same thing with his A1. He wants lots of defense. He needs to crit, and therefore he wants crit damage to start hitting hard. He doesn't need accuracy, so that's good, but he is going to need a lot of resistance as well, right? So that he can actually not be crowd controlled by the enemy team, and that he can then do his debuff transfer move. He wants that resistance, which turns into accuracy, so that he can actually land these debuff transfers. So he's going to need a ton of resistance. He's also going to need speed. You know, every champion needs speed, so you need speed as well. And then if you consider his passive, he's going to be absorbing a lot of damage from your allies, which means that he wants really high HP. If you think about an Ursica Warcaller for the arena, she is typically built with something like 100,000 HP or more. She's built with a ton of HP because this is so much damage coming in. If you imagine you've got 4 of you in the arena, yeah, and you get hit by an AoE attack, so Helior would get hit by the AoE attack, he takes 100% of the damage, but then if he's taking 30% of the damage off 3 other allies, that's 90% of the damage. So when a Trunda, for example, comes in and nukes you with an AoE, Helior is effectively, if he does his thing properly with Intercessor, he's effectively taking that damage twice, which is a ton. And we also run into a big issue here. What's the big issue? I'm pretty sure, again, I'm not 100% sure, so someone in the comments could confirm, but I'm pretty sure that this works like ally protection, i.e. the critical damage that you give Helior is going to be the multiplier that comes in on this. So it's not going to use your enemy's critical damage multiplier. This is how ally protection works, which is quite weird. But when the damage gets transferred to you via ally protection, it multiplies it by your crit damage modifier. So if we build him with crit damage to hit hard with these abilities, get a good shield, start hitting hard, all of that sort of stuff, he's going to be absolutely clapped by this. It becomes very hard to keep him alive. This is where Stoneskin comes in, and we can do some interesting things with this build. So Stoneskin, just by default, by the way, gives you HP %, resistance, and a lot of defense %. So the stat boosts that you're getting off of your Stoneskin armor are perfect for Helior. These are the exact sort of things that we want. On top of that, it's going to give you Stoneskin for 2 turns at the start of the round. It also has a 50% chance of blocking removals or steals. So this means that, number one, we're building him with high resistance. He's going to have high resistance. So it's going to be hard to strip him anyway. You're going to need a high accuracy enemy. But even if you do run into a high accuracy enemy, there's a 50-50 chance that he just resists their buff strip anyway, and Stoneskin persists. But what does Stoneskin do? It gives you, I believe it's 85% damage reduction. It gives you a massive shield as well, and it blocks all debuffs except for bombs. In all intents and purposes, then, this makes you almost completely immune to damage and completely immune to all debuffs. And what this lets us do with Helior is some really fun things. So this is how I've got him built out. This is the best I can do with my current Stoneskin armor. And you should immediately see some really hilarious things. So obviously we've got his resistance built up high. That's important for landing the debuff transfer and for resisting the buff strip and so on. But I've been able to crank his crit damage, his crit rate, and his defense all pretty high. Right, we've cranked that up, and we've left his HP and his speed really, really low. What is going on here? What's the theory? So the concept is, because of Stoneskin, right? Because of Stoneskin, we don't need to build his health high. And we don't need to worry about crit damage and potentially being nuked down, because he's effectively unkillable for the first 2 rounds of battle. Unless the enemy team has bombs or is able to somehow strip him, he's effectively unkillable. So it doesn't matter that we don't have 100,000 HP. The damage that's reflected onto us from our allies is just hitting that Stoneskin shield, and Helior is completely untouched. He is completely fine. Now he can come in and he can actually start smacking the enemy team. And yeah, I've sacrificed speed to make this happen. But again, it's not a huge deal, because while he's slow, it's okay, right? You know, he's going to be slow, but it's okay, because he's going to be basically immune to the damage. Here's what we've got. Here's the Stoneskin armor I have on him. So I've gone for like crit rate, resistance, HP on the weapon. You can't get defense on the weapon. Got crit rate, resistance, and a bit of speed on the head. His shield has, again, crit rate, HP, accuracy, and resistance. And then we've got, this is where it gets spicy, right? We've got crit damage gauntlets with crit rate, right? So crit damage gauntlets, a resistance chest piece, and then defense percentage boots. So this is what we've done to build him out. So crit damage to up his damage, resistance, so he resists stuff, and then the defense percentage boots. I think you could potentially use a defense percentage chest instead. That could work. You could give up some resistance. If you're reasonably confident, you could rely more on the Stoneskin protection and not worry so much about the debuffs. That's something you could do. You could potentially give him speed boots. That could also work. But this is how I set him up here today for fun. And here's the other spicy bit of the puzzle, which is a revenge accessory. So 5% chance to counterattack when hit. We've got 2 of these. So every time he is hit, he has a 10% chance to counterattack. And every time he counterattacks, he's going to be hitting hard. And he's also going to be stacking up his defense, which is going to make him tankier and make him hit harder. And then ultimately get him towards the point where he can start healing himself every single time he attacks. We've got him in a defense ring with defense percent. You can see I actually don't have much defense percent, so we're losing out a lot there. We've got HP percent. I don't have a better revenge ring, unfortunately, but a revenge ring with defense and like 4 rolls in defense percent would be the way to go, ignoring the HP if possible, as much as possible. Crit damage with resistance is what we're looking for here. A bit of defense is nice as well. So this is like almost a perfect amulet. This is really good. I mean, 4 rolls in resistance would have been better, but I'll take it. And then I don't have a good resistance revenge accessory here, but we're going for a resistance banner. You're looking for speed, HP percent, defense percent are the sort of things that you're looking for. So, you know, there's certainly room to upgrade him. We could easily push him over that 100,000 power. And then we look at his masteries, and this is exactly what we're building for as well. This is a very unique path through the tree, in my opinion. So we're going to take the crit rate. We're going to take crit damage, more damage to targets at less health. We're going to take more damage to targets at more max HP, because his max HP isn't actually super high. So this is going to be good as well. Wrath of the Slain is going to do more damage for each dead ally. So the idea here is that if we run him in a slower go second team, it's certainly possible that the rest of the team might die off, but Helior can make this like heroic last stand with 10% more damage, and he's going to hit pretty hard. Then we've got him with Methodical, more damage from his A1, stacking up to 10%. He's going to be using that A1 a lot, especially with Revenge accessory, so this should be really, really good. And then Helm Smasher to ignore target's defense, to help him actually hit harder, secure some kills, get bigger shields off his A2. You could run him with War Master if you're using this sort of build more for PvE, which is what I have been using as well. But I think Helm Smasher fits too. Then in the defense tree, more resistance. We're going to give him less damage from critical hits. This is not going to be good for the first 2 rounds of battle, so potentially you could give him something like Shield Breaker or Heart of Glory, which would be better for those first 2 rounds while Stoneskin is on. This is more once Stoneskin falls off. Reducing damage from crits is quite nice. Going to give him then Rejuvenation, 5% more healing, 5% more shielding. He obviously does healing and shielding himself, so that's pretty nifty. Let's just get over to this side of the tree as well. Resurgent can remove debuffs when he loses max HP. This is more so when Stoneskin falls off. It's going to be really strong. Shadow Heal heals him whenever an enemy is healed. I think that's pretty nice as well. Less damage whenever he gets hit by enemies. This is going to stack pretty high by the time Stoneskin is gone. And then here's another couple of spicy bits. So Cycle of Revenge. This is to sort of compensate for the fact that we're in a go second team and he doesn't have a ton of speed. 50% chance to increase turn meter by 15% when an ally is hit by a critical hit. So this is going to help him actually take his turns, supplement his lack of speed. You could give him Retribution for when Stoneskin falls off as an alternative, but I think this is slightly better. And then Selfless Defender. Decreases the damage an ally receives from the first enemy hit by 20%. This champion receives that damage instead. So, we come into an arena match. We get someone like a Madame comes out, debuffs our team. Then they get smacked by an AoE hit. He reduces it by 30% with his passive, and then by a further 20% with Selfless Defender. That's a ton of damage coming in on Helior, but he survives it with Stoneskin. So that's the logic right there. Yeah, let's go see him in action, shall we? Okay, so I'm only in gold 4 right now, unfortunately, but I think this should be an interesting match to see how it works. I'm going to show you several fights. This is like, again, I like to do the no bullshit showcase. I'll show you the fights that we lose as well, so you can get an idea for, okay, it works against these teams, and it doesn't work against these teams. This is the team setup I have right here. So I've got Mother Cybele in. Unfortunately, I had to drop some crit rate on Mother Cybele. That was a bit of a bummer, but it was something that had to be done. I realized that her relentless weapon was actually a big upgrade for my Bat Eater ninja. I'm probably going to switch Ninja's gear onto Jintoro, and stay tuned for videos on that coming soon. Ninja versus Jintoro and Bat Eater, rebuilding Ninja for Hydra. It's going to be some fun stuff in the next week. I just need to get some silver to actually do it. But yeah, Mother Cybele, she's going to come in, give us increased defense, revive on death. So that's going to be good. The increased defense going to up Helior's damage. She's her AoE damage pumping with this. Helior's coming in. We're going to prioritize Harsh Light, and then Solar Blessing should be actually priority number 2. This would be what I would use for him on defense. He's not very smart. His AI is kind of dumb, and he will prioritize attacking even when there's really nasty debuffs on your team. Maybe that changes when you book him, I don't know, but I recommend for defense leaving this as your priority. When you're fighting the fights yourself, you could actually take manual control, and if there's no debuffs in round 1, you could just force him to do Solar Blessing instead. But this is his setup. Rector Drath, you can see her stats, so she would be like revive first priority and then heal a second priority. If you had a Duchess is such a huge upgrade here, it's not even funny. And then Vogoth is going to heal us. So this is like try to survive against Magic Affinity nukers. You saw this team comp in my Mother Cybele video as well. We got 3 Force Affinity that will hopefully help us survive. I actually don't have any reaction accessories for Mother, Rector. Helior is obviously in Revenge and Stoneskin. So Rector and Mother can just die, which can suck. But if we survive the first hit or 2, Vogoth can heal us up, and then we can hopefully get running. So let's see how it works against this particular team. So this team has no buff strips. So Helior certainly is not going to die. We're going to try kill off Arbiter first. So this hit comes in. He actually only blocks skills on Vogoth, which is really good luck. We're healed up. Here comes in a big hit, but you can see our team is totally fine. Helior gets that counterattack in. You can see his Stoneskin. Right, his Stoneskin's taken some hits, but he's actually totally good. Here comes the increased defense. We transfer debuffs, we smack Arbiter. Now, Arbiter's low on life. He hit her pretty hard, and she has block active skills. She's decreased speed, HP burn, all that sort of stuff. So we're surviving just fine. Again, Helior is going to be absorbing some of this damage right now. Vogoth is doing his job. This is working really well. We get the smack start coming in from her. Some counterattacks. She got stunned, unfortunately, so that does kind of suck. Vogoth is going to die, but guess what? She's died as well. The stasis did nothing, and boom, there goes Helior, and look at that damage from his A2. And guys, I have to reiterate at this point what I've already said. I've not had the opportunity to book my Helior yet. Imagine all of the damage he is doing, but increase that damage by 30%, right? So we hit him for 20,000 right there. Add an extra 6,000 on, right? Add an extra 6,000 on in that situation. Like, that's the sort of stuff we're talking about. We look at the stats overall, and look at this. What do we have happening? Mother Cybele, she's doing pretty good damage, but Helior is absolutely smacking this team. He's ripping through it. We just took out a Hegemon team. That's pretty good. We got a bit lucky with weak hits and stuff, but it's pretty good. Let's try it against this team. Again, we could easily lose all of these battles. We'll have to see. Let's go up against this team. So what's happening here is that they are going to double strip us with Madame. So can we resist Madame is question number 1. Helior resists it. Good. So only, actually, okay, we've got 2 debuffs on everyone. Unfortunately, they both got taken out. So this is where, this is a bit of bad luck right there. Helior, let's see where he's at. So we don't really need to remove debuffs from this guy. We could put the provoke on her. Let's hit them with just the A2. It did okay damage, but this is looking pretty rough. Without the increased defense, it's pretty rough. So this is where, you know, no reaction on Rector, and the team does struggle. This is like a genuinely big problem with the team. You can see they're almost breaking through his Stoneskin. Almost, but not quite. So the team is down now at this point. Let's actually just do a regular A1 here. Smack her. And we're probably going to be ripped apart at this point. There's pretty much no way we survive. She removed the buff, but resisted this. You can see he's resisting most stuff. So he is nice and tanky. We get ripped apart there at the end. So we lost against this team. This is where a Duchess is a huge upgrade, because Duchess comes in and is like, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Have damage reduction from all these AoE hits. And Duchess is easier to build, tankier than Rector. So that would help a bit right there. So we lost against that particular team. Reaction accessory, so you survive that initial hit, though, would make a big difference. Let's try it. Could we beat this team? Probably not. I don't know if we have enough damage to actually cut through a Sifi, so that seems risky. We could try this team again as well. Let's try this one. Let's try the next one. So I'll skip that previous team. Our team, we don't have big single target damage, so the smack comes in. That certainly hurts. I imagine this is going to be an A3 Ninja. It's an A3 Ninja, but we're able to take the hits. We're really relying on affinity, guys, with this particular team. We're really relying on affinity to survive. So the smacks are coming in. He's going to transfer those debuffs, smack the Arbiter. Does a little bit of damage, but mostly it's about keeping our team alive. Now we can come in. We've got the buffs removed, so we can start, hopefully, actually taking them down. So we should get increased defense here. There we go. Revive on death. And now we're feeling a lot safer. He comes in with the counterattack. Very nice. You see that Stoneskin? It's still going. It's still going. Solar Blessing does a decent chunk of damage. Obviously, Krisk is redirecting a lot of it with ally protection. You can see the Krisk is starting to get pretty low. Our team is looking quite healthy. And you can see, by the way, you can see the size of the shield he's putting out. It would be 30% bigger if he did 30% more damage. But it's not going to be like this game-changing shield. About 40,000 damage there from Helior. Big smack. Big smack in turn from Ninja. That certainly hurt. That's for sure. We should probably target the Ninja, huh? Ninja's probably the biggest danger here. Helior smacking the Krisk. There we go. And yeah, we make it through this particular fight. We absolutely make it through. Helior's coming around for a smack. Oh, maybe Vogoth will kill him, actually. Come on, Helior, give him a smack. Bonk, 50,000 damage. Not bad. Again, up that by 25% for his A1. But not bad. Again, you can see the damage here. Helior's really churning it out. So he's doing a couple of jobs, right? He's almost unkillable. He's helping our team stay alive, and he's smacking them pretty hard. Let's try this team. Sure, let's try this one. So this one is going to be pretty nasty. They got 2 champions that can strip. Ray hits really hard, but she's magic, so we'll see. Removes all buffs. This one does 50% more damage against enemies under debuffs. I mean, this would be curious. Let's try it out. Let us try it out. Let's see how it goes. Again, we need to kill Arbiter first to stop their revives. So lots of debuffs out. Oh, okay. And it's not enough, guys. It is not enough in that case. If she does not get that weak hit, she just rips through our team. That's where we simply need you simply need reaction accessories. If you don't have reaction accessories, you're still gonna die, right? Helior can only protect you. Bear in mind, like, Helior right there, he's giving you the 30% damage reduction due to his passive, and he's giving you the 20% additional damage reduction. There's just no way to survive that, unfortunately. Now, he's putting up a good fight here, actually. He actually got removed debuff right there. He's resisting their stuff, but look at him, he took down Ray. Look at this, the heroic last stand. Oh, he got debuff this time. He got debuff right here. That's not good. Now he's in trouble. Madame was able to cut through eventually. Now he's smacking, but he's going to get taken out now. That decreased defense is going to be an absolute killer on him. And he is weaker once his Stoneskin falls off, because I've not built him with speed. So that's where he's going to fall off. But he put up a fight. He put up a good fight. But you can see, this is why reaction is so important. We'll see about this one. This team will be frozen. She'll probably just kill us. Let's give it a go, though. Let's give it a go. Yeah, but this is where Duchess reaction starts to become super important to actually survive, and why it's so difficult to make one of these teams. Okay, so you didn't... That was weird. Wait, what happened right there? That was really weird. That was... So we can freeze her with Helior. That's going to be kind of nice. So Deacon didn't decrease defense on us? Did I see that right? Has he just not done a decreased defense? That's weird. We need her to put Revive on Death on everyone. Mother, there we go. That should help keep her alive. Has he set his Deacon AI up strangely? Am I just blind? Maybe I'm just blind. That's certainly possible. We actually did get the buff durations decreased a bit there on Helior, but he's still coming in. He's still smacking, doing a good job. She has put a bit of healing out. She might get some revives off, that sort of thing. Hopefully Mother can get back around to her increased defense and whatnot. And this is certainly, in these sort of longer fights, you could also see where that the shorter duration on the buff removal and buff transfer would be good, especially in, for example, even in that last fight where Helior did get debuffed, having that extra ability to transfer debuffs would have been pretty nice, right? Would have been pretty good to help us get through. So we are going to win this fight, but it's a little bit slow. But yeah, I think you guys get the idea, right? This is how Helior works, I think. Like I said, I think he is the champion that benefits the most from Stoneskin. I think the ability to survive, you don't even need, to have him the super slow Helior build that I've done. You can give him speed boots and it's going to work, right? But this super slow Stoneskin Helior, I think is a really cool build. It's a really cool build. When he gets booked out, he's going to be really, really good. I think he's a champion that's worth considering. You can see the weaknesses of the Go Second team. You are still reliant, like Helior's stuff keeping you alive isn't enough to protect you, ultimately. You do need other layers of defense, like a Duchess passive. I don't know if Ursica passive stacks with him. I assume it would, so like Ursica as well. Even Vogot's not enough. You kind of need reaction accessories really to really get your best chance against these teams. But if you do have that, then it's really good. Or rolling the dice against Magic Affinity again. You can see Helior, he's churning out that damage. He's absolutely smacking. Look at him go. But he does great damage, up all this damage by 30%. He's super tanky, really useful for your team. But yeah, getting increased defense, resistance, HP from Stoneskin, and then Stoneskin gear, letting you not need to build your max HP super high. It's a game changer for Helior. I tried to use him before. It didn't really work. Why did it not really work? Because he would just die in round one. There's so much damage coming in at him that he's not an Ursica, right? Ursica has got more HP. She's got more stats, and you can just build her pure defensive because that's all she's there to do. You can do that with Helior, but you get a lot more value out of him and his abilities, right? Ursica can come in. She just is there as a tank. She puts ally protection and strengthen. She puts ally protection on her whole team and strengthen on herself, right? All she needs is a butt ton of health and a butt ton of resistance, and she does the job. With Helior, if you give him a butt ton of health and resistance, yeah, he can do the 30% damage reduction, but his abilities aren't going to do too much. So yeah, I think it's a fun way to build him. I think it's a cool way. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.